Welcome back. All of us want to explore our true potential in life. We also want to strengthen our relationship with our family or friends or kids. A lot of time we also want to give back to our community. But the question is, how do we do that? Let's talk about that in detail in this video. I am going to review a book that I recently read. It's called The Life's Amazing Secret, written by Gaur Gopal. You might have seen this person online, a lot of videos. The person is pretty familiar, but not as an author. Let's get in detail about what the author is trying to say. But before that, I'll give a gist of who is this author, Gaur Gopal. So Gaur Gopal is from Pune. He was working in IT industry. At 22 years ago, he decided he wants to become a monk. He gave up everything, came to Mumbai, and he's one of a famous monk in Mumbai and famous in online. You Google his name, all you see is Indian YouTuber. I was really surprised. So he's a famous man, and this is his debut book. Yeah, that's another interesting point of view. Book is written in plain English, and that's why I think the book is a bestseller. Now let's get in detail to understand what the author is trying to say. The whole book is a conversation between the author Gaur Gopal and one of his follower called Harry. So Harry lives in Mumbai. Gaur Gopal is visiting his home for lunch and he eats sambar, all this beautiful North Indian food. Now once he's done with lunch, he's going back to his Montessori where he's come from. Now while going back, they're having a good conversation, and that is evolving into this book. So the author Gaur Gopal says there are four wheels, like in the car itself, that four wheel that balances all of us and drives us through this crazy world or the crazy life. And he also says, you have four wheels, but who is controlling it? And that's your steering wheel. Now he says that the steering wheel is a spiritual practice, and whatever religion it is, Christianity, Indian, Hinduism or Buddhism, this spiritual practices that you follow is going to balance. And what are the four wheels? The tires. Now let's talk about that four wheels. That is the content of this book. The first wheel he talks about is the personal life. Personal life is your first wheel, and that how now I will tell you the four wheels first. Yeah, the personal life and relationship, work-life balance, and social contribution. These are the four wheels, and who's balancing it? Steering wheels. So you got that picture, right? So the personal life. Now let's double click on personal life and get in detail what he's trying to say. Author says in our personal life, we tend to see the negative side a lot of times, and our human mind is inclined towards the negative things because of the survival facts. But how do you tune your mind to see the positive side of life? Author says it's very important you see the positive things that you're blessed with and be grateful for that, and do not be worried about what you don't have or what you could have. So author always is subscribing to the fact that you enjoy life with what you have, be grateful with what you have, be thankful for what you have. It's pretty simple, right? But it's hard to follow. Now how do we do that? Is to stop worrying. Author says stop worrying. He says if something is worrying you, see if the problem could be solved. Okay, if that problem could be solved, why do you have to worry? Okay, on the other side, if it could not be solved, why worrying? Like, it's not going to be solved, just forget the fact and move on. That's what the author says. So if the problem could be solved, don't worry. If the problem is not going to be solved, still don't worry, because it's not going to be solved because you're worrying. So stop worrying, as the author says. So the personal life, two facts. One is positive side of life, and next one is stop worrying. Okay, nice. And now let's see the second wheel, that is your relationships. Now the author says a beautiful message in relationship, that is to be sensitive with your words, because we talk, human beings share words, that's how we communicate. And how do you build beautiful relationship is by being sensitive. You should be very careful of what you spill from your mouth. Be careful and only say positive things to people and reflect on good things on people. Okay, that's what the author says. And one interesting fact is that he says, you know, the words, the actual words WORDS and swords SWORD, sword. So the words and swords, they almost look similar. Just the first word goes here and there, but they both have a big impact if it's not handled properly. If you cannot handle a sword properly, you hit yourself and you die. So could happen with words as well, not literally, but at least in some form. So be very sensitive with your words, says the author. Gaur Gopal Das says, not me. Okay. And another beautiful idea that the author shares is, so this is a small anecdote where Gaur Gopal Das was at a small age when he just joined Montessori. He was taking bath, and after this bath he closed the tap and he kicked the bucket. Okay. Now there's another monk sitting or standing there, looks at Gaur Gopal Das. What did he just did? Why did you kick the bucket? And he says, no, the water was flowing. I just wanted to stop it. So instead of me reaching out with hands, I just kicked it from by my legs. Now the monk got really frustrated, and he says, no, 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 that's not how it works here. You should always treat inanimate things like even buckets with care and love, and you should use move it with your hands, don't kick it with your legs. And he says, you do that for every little thing that you have in your home. Sometimes we drink water and throw the water bottle, or we remove our shirt and throw it in the bed, or we would use our keys, cycle key, bike key, we would throw it in the table from 2-3 feet away. But I mean, these are the things that I do, and we all do that, right? So the idea is, do not do that. If you treat the inanimate things in a way where you don't care, that is going to happen with people as well. Yeah, that's what the author says. If you treat those things, the little things like the bucket in your bathroom, the dresses, the keys and water bottles, if you take care of them properly and treat them properly, that is indirectly going to affect your relationship with your friends, your family and everybody. So it's equally important. Why the author says that is because he says these are all things that are created by human beings, and so you have a connection to them spiritually. He says we are all connected. In Kannada, there is a beautiful saying that says, Aham Brahmasmi, I am the God. So we're all connected in a way to this beautiful world, in this beautiful universe. So treat every little thing with care. That's what the author is trying to say. And one important thing to improve your relationship is to not say anything when you are angry. A lot of times we spoil good friends or good relationships by saying things when we're really angry. Now, the author says, when you're angry, always step back and see the person as put yourself in that space and see why they did that. Separate the person from that episode. Yeah, you come out of that place where the situation happened and think through what exactly happened. Why did that person react that way? And don't say anything in anger. Don't react quickly and tell them I need some time, I'll get back to you, or something like that. You move away from that place and recall what just happened. Separate the episode, as the author says. Now, when you separate the incident, there are two choices. One, you can forgive them, or you can do justice for what they did. So by forgiving them, if it's happening personally to you and there's nobody else is involved, you can simply forgive, let go. That's the idea. Otherwise, if it's affecting a lot of people, if it's somebody has committed a theft, or they did something that's causing disturbance in your social life or people, then that's a crime, and you cannot forgive those people. You have to take action, you have to do justice, and we have law for that. So as a person, how can you deal with people? Idea is to see if you can forgive them. You have an option, you have a choice. Okay, so that's how you build beautiful relationships. That's what the author says. And the third and the most important one is your work life. That's the third wheel. Now we're moving on to the third wheel, back wheel. Okay, see, work life is where we spend a lot of time in our life, don't you see? We get up in the morning, we eat, and we sit in the work for the whole day. Then we get back to home, we spend time with the family. But a lot of time in our life is in the work life. So the author says, how do you improve your work life balance is by only doing one thing. That is by stop comparing yourself with anybody in the work. Yes, do not compare yourself with your senior folks or junior folks. You cannot see somebody who is in the company for 20 years and think to yourself, why could not why I could not do such things, because you just joined the company, he's there for 20 years. So the idea is to stop comparing with other people in your team or your workplace. So what do I do is you spend more time on improving yourself, see where are the skill set that you lack and focus on that, then you work on that. So the idea is to stop comparing with anybody and just focus on what you want. There is a worksheet. I forgot to talk about the worksheet. So there's a beautiful list of questions that helps you to find your purpose. And there's actually two worksheets. Okay, one is called the Ikigai worksheet. Ikigai means the purpose in Japanese. That's actually a book. That's for another video. We'll have it. But Ikigai worksheet can ask you some questions. By answering that, you might get some idea of what is my purpose of life. How do you define your purpose? And this is the forgiveness worksheet for the previous chapter for improving relationships. If you're really angry on somebody, or if you really want to kill that person, you have that vengeance in you, how do you forgive them? And this worksheet can give you some idea of do I really need to forgive that person or find justice for them? That's forgiveness worksheet. Okay, these two worksheets can help you. All right, so that's about the work life wheel. That's our third wheel. Now let's go back to the fourth wheel, which is very, very, very important. A car cannot run with three wheels. Yeah, if an auto can run, but car cannot run. But the fourth wheel is social contribution. See, social contribution is where you're giving back to the community. I'm a strong believer that when God, or if you believe in God, or if you believe in universe, or if you believe in some kind of superpower, you are put into this position when you earn well, when you really receive a lot of things. It's important that you give back to the community, because you are a channel, and through you it reaches to the right person. Okay, and I also believe that if you see a water, the river that is flowing, and it's pure because it's flowing, it's keep on flowing. The day it's desiring to stop, it becomes a sewage water. It becomes a waste, becomes it start to sting. So idea of social contribution is to give back to the community. The more and more you give back, you become more pure and more happy, and people around you are happy. That's my idea. Now let's talk about the author's idea of Gaur Gopal Das. And he says social contribution doesn't start from giving to some big charity, not going out and helping some orphanage. No, that's all there. But the idea of the author is to start from your family. Yes, it's very simple, and I really like the idea. You start giving to your family members. Okay, you sit back and talk to your sister or your brother or your friends, your grandma. You help them out. Don't start from somebody doing a lot of bad things in home and doing social contribution for the outside world is not really helpful. That's not going to help you in the long term. So the idea, I really enjoyed the social contribution chapter. This particular he's in Mumbai, so there are a lot of charity. There are a lot of places where people give back, and so this author says, in this chapter, author says there was a situation where the temple has organized a function. Temples, they do a lot of functions. One particular function, they lifted the god, and they wanted to do one full circle of the temple. In Tamil we called in Tamil we call it Urvalam. I don't know what to say in English. So this temple, they wanted to lift the god and move around and circle around the temple. So they suddenly hit a Mercedes Benz, unfortunately. And what happened was there's a small dent in the Mercedes Benz. Everybody was deciding, they were waiting, the organizers of the temple were waiting there, and after 1 hour they left the place. The next day morning, the owner of the Mercedes Benz got shocked, and then he called the place, the temple, and they said, what did you guys do to my Mercedes Benz? How much cost it is? He started telling all this, and then he said, I'm really thankful you did this. Yeah, because they left a note saying that you call to this number in temple and we're ready to pay for your cars problem that we created. And the guy started, crying because it's been a long time I donated, and I really feel happy that people are doing like this. It's very simple. You could have just passed by, but you wrote a note and kept it there for me so that I can call you. And he says, I'm going to contribute for all the functions. He's that rich. He said, I will contribute for any functions in this temple. That's a beautiful story, isn't it? So that's what happens when you start giving back to the community. You become more happy, and you get more. You give more, you get more. Okay, that's about the social contribution, and that's all I wanted to share in this video. I'll just give a quick review. Personal life is your first wheel. Relationships, work life, and social contribution. If you can focus on these four wheels through the main steering wheel, that is your spiritual practice, do some kind of a spiritual practice in your life. That could be meditation, that could be exercising. Exercising cannot be a spiritual practice, but you spend some time for yourself. So you can do follow your religion, whatever it is. So highly important. Steering wheel, that's a spiritual practice. And by doing this, you can explore your true potential of your life. You can follow and you can figure out what's your purpose of your life, and you can do that, and you can give back to your community, and you enjoy your work, and you build beautiful relationship with your family, your friends, and you're more happy. And so thank you for watching. I'll see you with another book review soon. So ciao.